I think the overall cost is probably lands between 110 and 120.
Wow. My one qualm would be that mother-child connection, though.
So that's not an issue at all?
It's not an issue?
You're a dog lover or a pet lover. That dog didn't come out of your but you've had a dog for 10 years. Like you love, some people don't have children, like they love their dogs like they love a child. And I knew that if I didn't have her myself, it was going to be fine.
All right, guys, fellow podcast here with me today, Shawn Lynch and Gentry Kelley. We share some names here, don't we?
I like that. It's
little
very
bit,
confusing.
It's my first name and your last name.
Yeah.
Except for we
Sean
spell it right.
Kelley.
I spell Kelly correctly.
Oh, you think that's the right way with the E?
Yeah, that's the Irish way.
Isn't
Are you
the-
Irish?
I'm Irish.
Yeah.
But isn't just the Y Irish too?
I don't know. I think they say that when people came to America, they didn't know how to spell their last name. So I think the original way, I think from my research, is Kelley, but people didn't know how to spell.
Wow.
So they would just say, and they would just get a little mixture. So there was a couple of decades where my aunt searched all the way back to the 1600s when my first family members came across on the Irish boat ship. And there was a couple of decades where they were spelling it with a Y.
Wow. You were able to go that far back? That's
Yeah.
interesting.
Yeah, she went all the way back.
How were you able to
with
go that-
Ancestry.
Ancestry.
I did 23andMe. But,
See, I did 23andMe, but Ancestry just got acquired by, I think, a big company, right? Did you see that?
Yeah, I did.
And now I don't trust it.
Yeah, and it was somebody
they were
that uses
selling.
data for something.
Yeah.
I forget who the.
He won't do it. He won't do the DNA stuff. He's
You
like,
won't
I
do
really
it?
don't want the government to have my
Well, it's not that. Maybe have a couple kids running around. Maybe.
Sperm donor
He's
back
like,
in the day.
uh-oh.
I don't need any kids coming later on in the years and be like, "You're
That
my
happened
dad."
to me, not with kids, but I
Like
found
cousins and-
a random cousin, and now they message me on Facebook nonstop. I'm like, dude,
know.
we're like 1% related.
So my business
I had
partner
that a little bit.
had that where people can connect with you, and he had all these like cousins, and everybody started reaching out. And so I'm like, I don't want any
Oh
part
yeah,
of that.
especially if they see you have money, like they're gonna be hitting you up left and right. You know?
Yeah, I don't
That
need
makes
that.
sense.
I've always just been fascinated with that kind of stuff.
It's interesting. I mean, it's important to know your lineage, right?
Yeah, I got really excited when I thought I was, 1%. Well, I guess it moved from Africa. It was at first like Moroccan or something like that. And then it moved over to Nepal.
Wow.
But we thought that I was going to be at least 8% Asian. It was an ongoing joke my
You
whole
do
life.
look a little Asian.
I know. Well, everyone always thought that I was Asian. Like growing up, all my Asian friends in high school, like, dude, you're Asian. Somebody slept with an Asian. You just don't know about it.
Yeah.
So on Insta, or actually it was Facebook, I was like, okay, we're doing it. This is when 23andMe first came out. There was like no Asian. I mean, Nepal is Asia technically, but yeah, it kind of jumps around. So I guess the more research they get, the more it changes. So every year when I log in, I see different results. But yeah, like 99% white.
Yeah,
English,
I,
Scottish.
I do notice the results change on there.
Are you Asian?
Yeah, half. Half Asian, half Irish. Well, apparently the Irish people do have some African in them if you go really far back.
Yeah.
So that's why I have an afro, I think. I just learned that.
I never did the 23andMe, but
Sean has it too. Look how kinky curly his hair
the
is.
older I get, the curlier it gets.
Oh,
The
yeah.
more hormones he
Yeah.
takes, the curlier he
Wow.
gets.
So, but yeah, I did a report, and my grandma or my great grandma had this box, and it had all the like history and everything in it. So I never did the 23andMe, but mine's mostly like Irish and stuff too.
Nice. So we're all Irish. Let's go.
We're probably cousins.
Yeah. Do both your families drink a lot?
No, my family. My parents did not drink growing up. I didn't even drink till I was 27 years old.
Oh, that's so not Irish at all.
I know. I hated the way alcohol tastes. Now I have one cocktail a day, sometimes
okay.
two.
I went real Irish when I was 18 to 24.
Oh, yeah. You went through that party phase. Yeah. So you were partying 18 to 24. So college and then a little after.
Oh, before that.
I dropped out.
Oh, before that?
I didn't
You're
really
partying in high school.
Yeah, I didn't go to college. I went to like 3 months of community college, but I did go hang out with my friend that was in college all the time, and he was partying every single day.
Lived
so
the
I
college
was
lifestyle without actually going.
technically, yes.
Is that where you two met?
No, I didn't meet him till I was 27. Actually, when I first started drinking, and I was drunk, and I was like, I'm just kidding. No, actually, I just met him out with friends. I was actually engaged at the time
Whoa.
when I met him. But my fiance was, it was a long story, but he was hiding in the bushes, like watching. And I'm like, dude, what are you doing? You're supposed to be here with us. There was nothing between him and I. We just talked
Yeah, it
about
was
real
just-
estate. I was, just starting I was in my first flip home. We had purchased something on what's like an eBay of websites where I got the house for $69,000, 2-bedroom, 2-bath.
Wow.
So 3-bedroom, 2-bath, and was doing all the work like myself and kind of learning it. And so I wanted to try to build a spec home, but I didn't know how to get a loan for just straight land without paying 50% down. So I was talking to him about that. He's like, oh no, I have a bank, 10% down, I can help you out. We didn't even exchange numbers. We didn't even talk after that. But that night, my fiance at the time didn't come home. Spent the night with another girl. I was like,
What?
okay, we're done. You're out. And just randomly at a wedding, like 3 to 4 months later, I ran into him again. So that was about 17 years ago.
I think
Wow.
though on MySpace I gave you the name of the bank.
Yeah, so like a week later, MySpace used to have people you may know, kind of like Facebook and
Yeah.
Instagram has now. And I clicked on it and I was like, oh my God, there's that guy. But I'm glad it didn't work out. And he was like really short with me because he thought I was with somebody, right? He was just like, here's the name and number. And then like 3 months later, he 4 months later.
We were at a friend's wedding or after party wedding, and
Yeah.
then that's where we kind of
Yeah.
Nice.
So,
17 years ago. It's hard to believe.
Yeah, 17 years.
Yeah.
That's impressive.
It's a little older than you are now, so you
I
blink
know,
and it's
right?
over.
It's hard to tell Asian age, you know.
Also
It doesn't crack.
Yeah.
I say
Yeah.
black don't crack, but it's Asian don't crack.
I've heard both.
The 17 years is a little bit misleading because she broke up with me twice.
Yeah, we've
Whoa.
been together the entire time.
Whoa.
Yeah, he worked a lot. So he started his businesses before I did. So when I met him, he was already, pretty successful in e-commerce and had just made Inc. 500's fastest growing companies in America.
Nice.
Number like
This was
150 or whatever.
2007.
Selling supplements online.
Wow, e-commerce in 2007.
So he was like
Yeah,
hand printing
we were
orders.
Super
early
early.
pre-Amazon was still maybe a bookstore. I don't remember the
But
date.
he was like hand printing orders one by one.
Really?
He would get hundreds, if not thousands, of orders a day. And so we would go to dinner. He'd be on his BlackBerry the whole night. We'd get home, and then he'd go straight upstairs. And for like 8 hours, he would sit there and print every single order and guesstimate weight on mailing label before they had
wow.
batch printing.
Well, that, and I would also do the customer service, and I would also do the ads. So it was back then, of course, pre-social media, it was all like Google AdWords,
Google,
and so
yeah.
I figured out how like a kind of arbitrage on the products, and I would instead of advertising for hot products, I would just pick these do
No
the
name.
analytics, pick these no-name products that only had like 500 searches, but I was able to get the products in, and when I posted on Google, I could get a cost per click ad back then for like 5 or 10 cents, and the conversion rate was like 82%.
Wow.
So that's how I
Yeah,
just
now the
kept ordering
conversion
those
rate, you get
products.
lucky if it's 2 or 3% now.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
back then it was.
And again,
82
it's
is
like
nuts.
Google Shopping
Yeah.
and Google AdWords is how we built it. And
Well, I
then
think-
before affiliate marketing, I kind of used everybody on these like message boards. So I guess before the big Reddit or whatever, they had
The forums, right?
car forum and workout forums, and so
Yeah.
all these different ones. And so I had affiliates in all these forums that were kind of promoting the brand. So it was just pre-social media.
It's kind of sounded like TikTok Shop. Maybe the next one of those.
Sounds like a TikTok shop's converting real well, I heard.
So
Yeah.
my marketing guy keeps pushing for me to do it, and I'm just like, we just started on Amazon about 4 to 6 months ago. Of course, we sell like direct to consumer. I own a line of cosmetics, so we sell direct to consumer. We wholesale it to retail stores. We just added Amazon. Like, I don't have enough staff to add the TikTok shop. If it does take off, I'd have to hire somebody new for that. So do I want to add that to my plate right now? But
I feel that.
I feel like every day someone's mentioning TikTok shop. So I went on there, and to me, from what I can see, it just kind of looks like an Alibaba or like a junk store.
They promote a lot of crappy products.
So I think that even my marketing guy says they're really trying to push and do free advertising for brands because they're trying to bring up the value of the TikTok shop.
Yeah.
So I don't know, maybe the next like Google AdWords thing to get people hooked on your brand.
There's always something new, and
There always
it
is.
always evolves. And so it's just the social media now with the AI and everything else is just like hockey
Yeah.
stick, right?
I like it from a business owner point of view because you just have to get them product. You don't even have to spend money. It's all commission based.
So what is that? Explain to me how it works because I really don't
So
understand.
you send
TikTok
out the
shop.
product to these creators.
Okay.
And then they make a video about it. And then they take commission on all the orders.
And what's the commission rate that they get?
I actually don't know the rate. I think you could set it though.
Yeah, you can set it. So basically, like if I was selling shoes and he was selling shoes, but I paid, 30% commission, he only paid 20. I'd have all these affiliates that would want to promote.
So is
my
there a
shoe.
place on the TikTok shop where I can search the affiliate, the people who are pushing the products, and then DM them? How do I even know who's using TikTok
I
shop?
have no
Just
idea. I don't have any
ask
physical
random
Yeah, I'm
people?
not
anymore,
sure
so
on
I'm out of the.
That's what
I'm
I
out
need,
of the
that's
loop
what I need
on
to figure
that.
out because I really thought I was going to have to add like all my products in a store like I have my Amazon store.
Yeah.
But it sounds like you could just do 1 or 2 like key products on there and it APIs into like our shipping software. So it's not going to be a manual process, but that would make everything easier. So
Yeah.
We'll see.
This is why I got out of e-commerce because there's so many moving parts.
I told pretty much anybody in my business partner, I'll never invest in like a low margin product-based business anymore. It's just so hard. And
I think
especially now the
creating-
competition is so crazy.
Yeah, it's competitive.
I
think
only
somebody
invest in high margin businesses that
Same.
I know have like
Yeah.
a long-term life. So medical and, we're still in oil and gas and some commodity stuff, but in rental businesses and real estate. And so only try to stick to stuff that is not going to change next year and try to put my money there and always operate off a high margin. I mean,
100%.
that low margin e-commerce stuff is so hard.
Stressful, man.
Yeah.
And speaking
like
of stress,
like a grind.
we both dealt with that. E-commerce might have played a role in thinking about it now.
No, I had anxiety and panic attacks way before I started a business. It was good and bad because I think it did help me. I would wake up every morning and felt like I always felt like I needed to be doing something. 'Cause I
Charged
would
and
have
ready to go.
Well, no, I'd have so much anxiety for no reason.
Well, you sent me an article the other day about people with ADHD and anxiety. Those are the people who kind of go the path of entrepreneurship because they have that like built-in like push to do more and be able to juggle 500 things at one time where most people can only focus on one at a time, and you have to have that ability to be able to make it through a day.
Yeah, I agree.
Right.
I don't know what caused it. I mean, it was just there was no life traumatic event or anything. I just Started getting it all the time when I was 15 and 16 years old. Had no idea what it was at the time. And I wish I would have known then what I know now with like a lot of the longevity stuff, genetic testing. And so definitely trying to share with as many people as I can. I tell everybody about it, just as far as the stuff that I'm doing.
Do you deal with that with MTHFR?
Yeah, and that test, yeah, I wish I knew about it earlier because I got it. Gary came on the show last year. I got it and then realized I had 2 gene breaks. So I was like, holy crap, I eat Italian food every day. Like it's folic acid or whatever is in it. So
yeah, you have no idea.
But if you eat pasta from Italy, they don't spray it with folic acid.
Yeah, I wasn't. I was eating the cheap one in a blue container or whatever that's called.
You would think that something that simple, they're like, oh, you just need to take this methylfolate. I'm like, yeah, right. Like I've had anxiety my whole life. There's like, I've tried all kinds of stuff.
Well, same
and
thing
then
with
you
me.
do it and you're like, really works.
In pregnancy, like people miscarry all the time and are going through all these rounds of IVF.
That's common.
I was pregnant with twins, miscarried.
Oh.
Realized, and I had told my doctor, I told my IVF doctor from the very beginning, I was like, hey, random test said I have MTHFR. A friend of mine told me that could affect me getting pregnant, just letting you know up front. He kind of like eye rolled.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, of
Damn,
course.
yeah, they don't know.
It's not something that's really pushed in typical med school.
Not at all.
But all I had to do was switch a supplement and I got pregnant. So when I was blogging about the whole thing, I'm like, I spent my whole life trying to not get pregnant. This is going to be so easy. Now I want to get pregnant. So we put 2 embryos in and one didn't stick and the other one I ended up, she stopped growing. So there was a heartbeat and there wasn't a heartbeat and then there was a heartbeat again. And then if you don't, I'm taking folic acid thinking that's the right thing to do. But if I would have just been taking folate the whole time, then the
baby would have
methylation
survived.
process, well, I mean, who knows what it really could have been. But the baby was tested genetically going in and out. There was nothing wrong with her. But you just can't build like the DNA chain, if you're not taking in the right amount of folate.
Wow.
So if you're taking folic acid, your body's just regurgitating and it can't go through the funnel to
Crazy.
go through the whole chemical process. So sometimes a really quick, easy supplement change like that. And I've been talking about that now for probably 4 or 5 years since I got pregnant with my son. And all I did was change that.
Such a simple fix.
Yeah, simple fix. But I mean, these IVF clinics don't make money
Yeah.
if you get pregnant the first time. Right?
It's such a crazy thing because all my friends right now have had a miscarriage.
Yeah.
Almost every single female I know in their 20s and 30s has had one.
Yeah, that's a good
Yeah, I
thing to
think
check.
it's super common.
It's so cheap, right? And it's so simple just to do a test.
It's a $39 a month
Yeah.
vitamin that I took when I was pregnant. And that was
Wow.
it.
That's it.
And I did have a terrible pregnancy for 500 other reasons, but at least I was able to carry a baby. But we had a surrogate this last time for a baby we just had 3-4 weeks ago. So
Oh, nice.
I didn't want to go through that again.
It was the best thing in the world.
Surrogate, you'd recommend that?
Yeah.
If
We
you're- if you're
froze
busy.
embryos, so it's, our embryo that we froze 6 years ago. She had our son. And then we had just a daughter through a surrogate recently, and we have
2 more.
2 more frozen. And
Whoa.
the surrogate said she'll actually do another one for us. So
Holy crap.
6 months, it's like round 2.
We're going to be 50-year-old new parents.
Let's go. How much
right.
was the surrogate?
You pay, it's kind of like with IVF. You don't really know what the bottom dollar is because you're paying here, here, and here. You have like a escrow account. They're paying her monthly.
Oh.
Her fee in Texas was $55,000.
Holy crap.
That's nothing though. That's nothing
What?
though because you're carrying a baby for a whole year.
Yeah,
You're
it's-
going to doctor's
Right, it's
appointments.
a full-time
or-
job.
She almost
yeah.
deserves it. Yeah,
Yeah.
That's a really tough.
But they get reimbursements on
Food.
prenatal massages. Not food, but like clothes. Like
Okay.
she has to buy certain clothing.
Well, I
or
would
take
want
one
them
day
eating
off of.
healthy, though, if I'm
She did. Yeah,
She actually said she was. She ate a lot better than she normally did. Our baby was perfect.
nice.
We're very, very lucky. There was no issues. The pregnancy was super. There was so not dramatic like mine. I had everything like preeclampsia. And I know you probably don't know any of this stuff.
No, I don't know.
Placenta previa, gestational diabetes. I almost had a stroke when I went into labor. So
Damn.
it was just a lot on my old ass body to go through that. My body was like, "What the hell are you doing? You're too old for this." But everything was flawless with her, and she was like, "I was drinking green juices every day to try to get in the right protein." She was taking
Okay.
that vitamin. I said, "You know what? What do you call that? Not prophylactic. What do you call it when you're treating something when you don't even know it's a thing?" I was like, just go ahead and take this ritual vitamin just in case you have MTHFR.
Also, just so people know, it's not just 55,000. So the agency fee is about 25. I think the overall cost is probably lands between
over 100.
110 and 120.
Wow.
You got to pay their insurance.
Yeah,
too.
you pay insurance, and it's a net to them, the 55. So car rides to the doctor and Ubers and all, you're paying for everything.
Got it.
So they net the 55.
Oh, okay.
So yeah.
Yeah, I think one of the Kardashians did that, right?
Yeah.
Surrogate?
Yeah.
I think she did a couple of them. I think Kim did.
My one qualm would be that mother-child connection, though.
So that's not an issue at all.
It's not an issue?
So I already have daddy issues. So I considered doing surrogacy because of the MTHFR thing and the miscarriage. I was like,
Yeah.
if I can't get pregnant, I may have to go that route. But I was really nervous because I had issues, with attachment issues. Anyway, I've always been like that. I'm just not a super emotional person. And I was like, I'm probably not going to bond with a child that is not mine. So I had my first one. Like I said, with the right kind of vitamins, I was able to keep the pregnancy. Terrible pregnancy. He came early due to the stroke. Not even that early, but he had wimpy white boy syndrome, which is a white male born a little bit too early. The organs aren't fully developed, so he wasn't breathing properly. So he was in NICU for 3 days.
Wow.
By the 3rd day, I told Shawn, I was like, I'm going to get off all these medications from the C-section because I don't feel like I'm bonding with him. I don't feel anything towards this thing. You know, I see videos and pictures of, oh my God, I love this thing more than life. Like as soon as it comes out of the vagina, and I'm like, I'm not feeling that way. So I think all these pills that I'm on are like blocking that emotional connection. I was more connected with her when she came out than I was with him
Whoa.
when he came out.
Crazy.
And the best, and this is a silly analogy, but it's the best analogy I can give. If you're a dog lover or a pet lover, that dog didn't come out of your vagina, but you've had a dog for 10 years. Like you love, some people don't have children, like they love their dogs like they love a child. And I knew that if I didn't have her myself, it was going to be fine. And as soon as she came out, I got to cut the cord, which was totally creepy. Almost cut her little toe while I was getting with the cord. And then I got to do skin-on-skin contact immediately. And then she was immediately with me.
Nice.
So it wasn't like with him when he was in NICU for 3 days. She was immediately in the room with me.
Wow.
Yeah, so it was a good experience.
It was great.
And
Nice.
she didn't have to be pregnant.
I was a little nervous something was going to happen. I was like, well, what if the surrogate wasn't, was she smoking crack? Something you always like think of. What if they're
Right.
doing something while they're pregnant and you don't know about it? But I totally trusted her, and she's a good person.
She ended up being really amazing. It was
Yeah, we got
a good
lucky.
experience. Yeah.
Nice.
So we'd definitely recommend it.
Let's go. Diving into your podcast now, Official Success Formula.
Yep.
You guys just started it, right? 25 episodes in.
Yeah, started it earlier this year, started filming. Like I said, I think this is number 27. I kind of start losing count until I go through the spreadsheet. I kind of had the idea because I own a line of cosmetics. And so I was like thinking of, I have this wasted space in my basement. I would love to be able to connect with more people. But I'm not a serial executor like he is. He's balls to the wall. I just would talk about it a little bit more. And then so finally he was just like, listen, I'll do it with you. Shawn didn't even have social media until this year.
Wow.
0. So I was like, there's no way that you're going to get behind camera and do this with me. He's like, no, I want to. I think it'll help with my communication skills. So we decided to do it together. And then I would say maybe February, March, we filmed our first one. And then we wanted to get a lot in the pipeline, knowing the baby was coming. We didn't want to have to get behind if something happened or whatever. So yeah, we have 27 under our belt now and about 8-ish posted.
If it was probably up to me, I'd be doing what you're doing. 800 a
wants to
year,
do-
like because
Once we get our traction, I don't mind like moving it up later.
Yeah.
But I'm still very hands-on with my
she's still-
4 businesses
she's
that it's
very,
hard for
very
me.
involved in running
Makes
her company,
sense.
so it's way tougher for her. Luckily, I have a great business partner, and our companies, we have great executives now, and so they're at a level where I'm not so like involved in every single thing. I don't touch everything every day in the company, and so of course it's easy for me to say that, but I'm like pushing her. I'm like, let's do more. We're about to have the kid. Let's do 3 this week, 4 this
Yeah.
week, and so I'm like you. I'm like more volume. You're going to get better at communicating.
Yep.
And you're going to get better traction on social media, right? With the clips that come out, and some are going to take off, and some you just have more chances at bat, right?
More chances, yeah. Yeah, I'm posting like 5 a day right now.
Yeah, and the communication,
Connection.
like the
And the
connections
connections,
with all your
too.
people you're meeting.
Oh,
is
yeah.
so cool.
It's huge. Yeah,
I mean,
you guys.
we met some good friends already. You kind of form a bond with some of these people because you're like, this person's like super like-minded like me,
Right.
and so in your town, wherever you're from, you don't meet all those people that are that much like-minded like you are. And so the podcast is super helpful for us.
Absolutely.
So it's been really cool. Good experience.
Was one of those people Wes Watson?
It was, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah, when he first told me, he's like, hey, we're going to interview this Miami guy. I said, okay, what's his name? I'm going to follow him on social media. I was like, holy I mean, I'm a lot. I mean, I don't have a filter, but he's like
He's next level, yeah.
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 I don't know
It's-
anyone.
Yeah,
like him.
he's that's how he's built his brand, and I think a lot of people kind of need that hard, tough talk. I mean, it's just there's a group of people out there that have to have that.
Well, if you watch him, I mean, it just only took, at first I was just like, oh, dear Lord. But then after a week, I'm like, well, what he's saying is true. And just like Shawn said, people need to hear it. They need that push to say,
yeah, some people are just that's
get
how
up out
they
of your
get-
bed and
yeah.
don't be a lazy asshole,
Right. Did you guys see another side of him, or was he like that on the podcast
No,
too?
he's like that in person too.
Oh, he's like that?
He's legit. He's not making it
He
up.
was
I
getting
mean,
in a fight with, he was like missing his license plate for one of his cars or something, and like the cameras were off, and he was like ripping this guy a new. Those license plates after a month, they showed up within an hour. They were at his doorstep. So
Yeah, it was more these brokers were trying to hold his money. It wasn't just about the license plate, but yeah, he's that guy off camera. He's motivating and
Yeah, interesting style. You seem to be more reserved, more calm.
I am.
Different
Yeah.
leadership style.
I am.
totally different.
Yeah, very much so.
Yeah.
I don't think I don't have that in my body to go. and yell at people every day.
Was that from your anxiety? You think you're kind of just...
Yeah, probably. I've just always been like that. Like, I'm just more of a calm person. I try to think through things and try to make the best decision as possible. I don't like getting emotional enough.
He's not
to probably
reactive. He's
react
not
like that.
reactive.
Yeah, I don't even know if I can react like that.
I do.
She's-
Hormones helped me, but
Yeah,
yeah,
she's
especially
like
like
that.
2 or 3 years ago, I was in a really bad place where I was just over peopled, as I say.
Yeah.
And just because I'm dealing with artists, makeup artists, and hairstylists too. So just like the constant,
standards,
I had
right?
a lot of, I have very high standards. I want everybody to work the same way I work, which is the way I worked, even when I worked at Neiman Marcus. Like I always put in 110%. So I have high expectations, but you just got to realize that it's not their business. They're not going to treat it the same way you do, and don't get so frustrated and don't just harp on the same thing over and over. It just puts you in a really bad place. But he's my coach too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Always saying like, don't worry about it. It's not that big of a deal. Like these are not real problems.
Yeah, we make a pretty good team.
I love it.
The first time we ever worked together though on a business is technically the podcast, and
Yeah,
she
it's been a little rough.
yeah she well no because I'm go push
Yeah.
push, and she's like she's juggling a lot of things, and so every once in a while she'll freak out. You got to slow down. You got to do this. You got to cross your I's and dot your T's. I'm like,
Yeah. Mixing business and dating is tough sometimes.
we're pretty good.
He
yeah.
owns an oil and gas company too, so it's between the oil and gas company. He does construction, and we were doing our personal house, and then we just bought a lake house too.
Yeah.
Damn.
So he's like doing a flip house at the same time he's doing those 2 projects. We're sharing contractors. We were living in a hotel for 8 months.
Damn.
And I'm like, we have a kid, the nanny,
She
and
makes
the
it sound
dog.
bad, but
Then my dog.
it
Then
was
my
the
dog.
4 seasons.
Yeah. Then my dog died, and we were in the hotel, and
Oh
it was
my
just
God.
like a lot. It was a lot going on.
The dog
at,
died
like-
in the hotel?
Yes.
Holy
Yes.
We had her for 15 years.
Yeah,
she was
older, but
was on her last
But it
leg.
was like a lot going on at one time, and I was like, I just want to be in my house.
I feel that. Moving is stressful. I just moved. Takes a lot
Did
on you.
you
know?
said you were in LA for a couple months?
I was in LA for 5 months, but I just moved within Vegas, and yeah, that was a full-time job, just getting all the contractors and everything. This is my first house.
So you were living in an
did
apartment
you-
until your house was done that you
I
found?
was renting a house, yeah.
Did
I
you
didn't
build
have-
it or did you?
No, we bought.
Okay.
Building probably would have been intense. Are you guys building?
I mean,
we-
it was basically.
always renovate.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
renovation. It's old 1930s home that we live in.
Wow.
that We took down to the studs and renovated it, so it's pretty much like new construction. So it's
Okay.
still all the
We're almost done.
yeah.
Well, we were almost done, and the hurricane hit in Houston, and then a tree fell
Oh,
on our
I
house.
saw that.
So that was like another probably $50,000 worth of damage, and then you can't file an insurance claim because if you do, they're probably going to drop you.
Yeah, it's
When you
really
go for renewal because everyone's trying to get out of
Oh, so
Texas.
you gotta
getting
go out of
really
pocket
weird.
on
Yeah,
that?
it's getting really
Yeah.
weird on the insurance stuff in Texas because of the hits they're taking with all these storms and ice storms and all just everything.
So unless it's a complete loss, it's not even worth filing a claim.
That's crazy.
Which that sucked really bad. So the house almost to the finish line. We had like
Yeah, 1
Couple
yard
weeks
line.
left, yep.
Have you guys seen the insurance rates in Cali go up? Holy crap!
yeah,
For
I'm not,
what?
I'm not
'Cause the
following it
fires?
too much.
No, just accidents. It's doubling. Car accidents.
for
Oh,
cars.
car, yeah.
yeah. 'Cause
No, I
people
have
are
no
winning
idea.
all their claims.
What was your insurance when you were there?
Well, I didn't have it, but my assistant got hit out there. He won $100,000.
Oh, it's like
And that's common. My Uber driver out there was driving me at the airport. He said he won $100,000 too, like the year before.
oh,
The-
just
the
from
church is settling.
Accident.
accidents.
Yeah. So
accident
now
claims.
it's like $800 a month for car insurance.
Much to pay to litigate, so it's not even worth
Well,
it.
yeah.
You just
Yeah, these insurance companies are hurting, I think. They're not used to this, I don't think.
well, especially in Texas, like there's like we have one storm after another between like we had a freeze and a lot of people's pipes busted. It was just very
Oh, it gets
uncommon
cold
for us
out
to
there.
snow, and like I think we were out of like gas, power, and it was just like a triple whammy of all these things happening at one time for like was a week,
Yeah.
Wow.
and so that was a lot.
You're
of
making me
losses,
not
and then
wanna move there now.
hurricanes- No.
There's a lot of
Houston's
there's
supposed
a
to
lot
have
of
an
pluses.
apartment, but
yeah,
not-
there's a lot of pluses. The hurricane thing and some of the weather stuff is like the only downside to Houston.
Okay.
Yeah.
I like how it's central. You could get
It's
anywhere in
great.
2 hours, right?
And it's
Yep.
becoming like one of the number one like food capitals for sure. It's great.
Really?
I think we're about to get Michelin in
Yeah, they're finally
Texas
getting
too.
Michelin stars in Texas.
Oh, yeah. We're spoiled out here. We got a ton of good
Oh, I know.
restaurants.
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah, Vegas is hard to beat for food, I'd say.
I feel like Vegas would be a
Houston's
good spot.
would probably be a good competitor. And I like a lot more ethnic food and more variety and more flavor than you can get at most Michelin restaurants, in my opinion.
Really?
Michelin restaurants to me is just like a bunch of art.
Wow, you got high standards.
We eat out every single night.
oh, yeah?
I don't know.
So-
Texas is it
And we
gives
have-
you high standards. Like it's really good. Like when we travel, we're like, man, none
We
of
just-
the food is good as it.
Oh,
as good
wow.
as it
We
is.
have good
Okay.
seafood. I mean, because we're right there on the Gulf, we have really good. Everything's nice and fresh. So any kind of seafood that you want. We're so close to Mexico, so there's a lot of Mexican influence. We have Tex-Mex. You guys don't have it here. If you've never been to
Yeah,
Texas,
we
you don't
don't.
know what Tex-Mex is. So they try it other places. It does not work. They don't know what
No,
Tex-Mex
the Mexican
means.
here sucks, actually.
And then we get like coastal Mexican or Mexico City Mexican. So we get a lot of really good like James Beard is our version of Michelin awards in Houston for the restaurants, and then the barbecue and just really good steak. We have a lot of
Just a lot of high end people are coming.
Nice.
It's really good. Yeah, I think Vegas would be a good spot to live. Like, of course, we'll probably never leave Houston, full time, but we have a house in Austin now and we love it there. But Vegas would be another spot. There's so many people in and out. There's always people coming for something for business. I'm sure it's amazing.
Yeah, I've been able to do 15 episodes a week here for almost 2 years
there's
straight.
always
Is that
somebody
why
coming in.
you kind of landed here? Because it's easy to get people on your podcast. No one really says.
No, I came here before the show even started.
Oh, really?
But no, just being here, we're booked out till December, 15 a week, no issues. People are in and out. Conferences, UFC fight this weekend. There's going to be so many people for that.
First
so.
UFC fight in the Sphere, right?
Yeah, first one in the Sphere. And we got F1 here every year,
Yep.
which is crazy networking. Have you guys been in F1 yet?
No, but in Austin, it's huge.
It's huge,
Yeah.
right?
We have a track there.
Yeah. How come you don't go to those?
I don't know. I think we might go this year. I don't know who was mentioning it to me last night. I think Zach or Mike and Bo were. I think they're coming down. And so he said a ton of people are going to go.
I would love to
They're
go to
meeting
that.
up with them, yeah.
Yeah, that'll be huge. Do you guys go to a lot of conferences, events, stuff like that in general?
I go to the one that's out here for cosmetics. So there's one called Cosmoprof. It's huge if you're in the world of hair, skin, makeup, and that's where all your vendors go. So that's where you go meet packaging suppliers, fillers, and just anything related to cosmetics. So I go to that in July. So it's just
Okay.
here in July. That's when I told you it's like 115 degrees in the parking garage.
Damn. Yeah, there's a conference here every week, literally. At
Yeah.
least one a week.
Not oil and gas too much. I mean, I think
Yeah, I
most
haven't
the
heard of an oil
conferences-
and gas
It's-
conference.
It's mostly in Texas.
There's not really a lot.
A lot of
going on
older guys in that space, right?
There is, yeah.
I didn't mean that as an insult, just
no.
like what I've noticed.
there. He's
No,
calling
there
you
is.
old.
No, there is. It's definitely like buddy, kind of old
Good
school
old
the
boy.
way it does business, yeah.
Yeah, so how did you penetrate that at a young age?
I actually had sold a company, and a guy that I used to build houses with and invest in real estate with, he, during 2008, lost a ton of money in the real estate industry. And, we were building houses together. I knew him. He was still a friend. I mean, he was a good friend of mine. And then when I sold my e-commerce company, I said, hey, he started oil and gas business in 2008 when the real estate market collapsed.
Yeah. Did that crash too during that, the oil?
Oil and gas? I don't know. I don't remember. I think it was okay during the recession. I think it was like $70, $80.
Okay.
But anyways, he started that business. And so he had that business since 2008, 2009. And I had been friends with him. And when I sold my other company, I was like, hey, let's try to buy your partner out. If not, I'm going to go do something else. Like I'm about to go start something or do something. And so I was able to buy his partner out. Everything worked out. And that's how I got in that industry. I wouldn't have been able to probably just jump in like that without him.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, he had all the relationships.
You knew
He-
nothing about the industry.
No,
Literally
nothing.
nothing.
Wow. Figure it out,
But
though.
they knew they worked good together in the
Yeah.
building. Like, of all the partners Sean's had in building, like this guy he works the best with.
Oh,
They
nice.
think the same. They're both like type A, OCD, like clean and organized. And when you have someone that works like that, you work well with those people. So they just knew it was going to be a good fit. And they're
So-
great partners.
Plus,
Nice.
I saw him in a lot of bad situations when you're selling houses
how he handled it, yeah.
customers, yeah, and you know his character.
That's huge, right?
Yeah. And so it worked out, and it was great. And we still buy real estate and invest in stuff today, outside of the oil and gas industry. So
That's cool. So you invested mainly because of him, not because of the industry.
yes, yeah, I didn't just go, hey, I'm gonna pick an oil and gas company to invest in. Yeah, it was because of him. And I had knew of the company, I had followed it because I'm friends with him, and so I thought it would be a good opportunity. We are in Houston. I mean, it's so big, just in Texas in general, and so it worked out. Of course, pandemic was a little crazy because there's like zero work and they
Right.
shut everything down. But so that was a little rocky. But other than that, we climbed our way out of it, and it's doing good. It's the downside. The high volume is the good side. The downside is with the frac schedules, commodity prices. It's just so
Volatile.
crazy. Yeah. So you got to really try to carry no debt, low debt, and then just
Yeah.
ride out the low cycles and try to make money when things are good.
Yeah, that space gets really affected by politics,
Big
right?
time,
I
yeah.
noticed.
Yeah. So who knows?
And a lot of people
right?
can't make it through those
Yeah.
slumps.
Yeah.
Right.
So you'll have a lot of bankruptcies and mergers and
A lot of mergers right now, too.
big time.
Oh, yeah? Because
A
people are
lot.
struggling right now.
So it's getting to be where there's not really a whole lot of competition anymore. They're buying up all the small guys.
Oh,
That
wow.
and all the E&Ps, so the production companies like an Exxon or like a Chevron, all those guys are buying up all these smaller E&Ps, and so there's just it's getting very,
Creating
very
monopolies.
small. Yeah, it really is.
Yeah, they're doing that with farms right now, too.
Really?
Yeah, Bill Gates is buying up all the farms.
Okay, tell me more about that. I don't know anything about this.
Oh, yeah. I mean, have you heard of its company, Apeel?
Spell it.
Apeel?
No.
Why do I feel like I just heard something a couple of days about this?
So you probably heard of it because all the fruits and vegetables at the grocery store now, they're putting
Oh.
a peel on it.
Okay, so that's exactly where I heard about it, like the synthetic 3D printed
Yeah.
type foods. What is this? He said he got one of those rubbery avocados the other
Oh,
day.
you got one? Yeah,
I think
it's in
so. I
grocery
was like,
stores
something's
now.
weird with my avocados. Like,
Don't want to say
McDonald's.
what we love this grocery store that y'all don't have here. You wouldn't even know the name. But
Oh,
we're
yeah.
not going to say the name. But I was like, I think because we're shopping at this place, we're fine. And then he got one from.
Well, it's going to be everywhere. It doesn't matter. It could be the nicest grocery store, you know? So,
So
yeah,
they're actually-
basically it put on the outside of the fruit or vegetable that makes it last longer, but it's not natural. It's like,
What material? I mean, what's the
This is genetic that
chemical
they're
or
doing?
that's
material
the
they're putting
problem. It's like factory made. So,
So we say factory made. Is it like a genetic with the genetics of it, or is it
Pro-
something they're
I don't know
actually
the-
adding?
Or
at
they're
the
like
end?
Yeah.
spraying a coating or something.
I don't know the exact details, but basically it's not natural, which is the biggest thing.
I just keep seeing videos, and you never know what's real, fake, or AI anymore. But it's like these rubbery watermelons and avocados and bananas are what I'm seeing.
I've seen the fake watermelons. Yeah, that's funny.
But I'm actually seeing that that's 3D printing of food. Like if we ever get in a shortage situation or something
Yeah.
bad happens in the future, that's kind of like the next plan is to.
Yeah, I saw they're making fake meat now.
Yeah,
Italy
the meat.
banned it though. Shout out to Italy. I'm not a fan
There's
of the
no
fake
way.
stuff.
I could
there's
not
no
eat
way
that.
It could be, but there's no way that can be good for you. Like,
But
you
how
just
will you
eat a
know?
whole food diet. Like, that's the only thing you can
For
do.
real.
We're not made to eat like a bunch of like processed stuff or fake stuff that they're going to manufacture in a lab. Like, there's no way that's good for you.
Yeah, all the stuff they're giving our kids now, it sucks to see.
Well, I'm gonna get a lot of hate for this, but definitely not vaccinating my daughter.
Oh,
after seeing
hell
what
no.
happened
I don't
to
think you'll get hate from my audience.
I mean, I did it to my son because I was kind of pressured to do it. My best friend's always been an anti-vaxxer. She's a Democrat, anti-vaxxer. Like, doesn't even go together.
Yeah, I've never heard
She's like,
that,
I'm a
actually.
rare breed, but she's worked for a chiropractor at a very young age, 18, 19 years old. And so she's always just believed in more holistic medicine. And she's like, don't do it to him. I didn't really know, like, again, this MTHFR thing was kind of new to
Yeah.
me. I don't know if the MTHFR and that is correlated, but if our bodies are built to not be able to digest and break down things, how by pumping a ton of aluminum in my kid is that going to be good for him to digest?
Right.
So at 1 year old, he had started saying, small words, the typical 1 year old would say. He would eat anything, chicken, like our nanny would make him like, boiled noodles, whatever he would eat, vegetables, carrots. 1 year old, he got really sick after his vaccines, really high temperature. And after that, the talking stopped for 3.5 years.
Whoa.
Yeah.
So he didn't talk until he was 3.5 years old. He shut down. It was the blank stare. I mean, the signs of autism. Like I thought, like,
Yeah, we actually
this is it.
took him to get him tested.
Yeah, we thought we
Wow.
got him tested. Just the social cues, like all of that just kind of stopped. And then, of course, I just kept with the schedule, not knowing really what it was. And then everyone's like, oh, he's a boy. His nanny speaks Spanish to him. It's probably, the being the boy dual language. And then by like 3.5, we're like, dude, still? So he started talking a little bit more clearly at 4, but now he's 5.5 years old. I held him back, and we're starting delaying kindergarten because I don't want him to be a little bit more caught up and
Dang.
not put him in behind. But
That's
I'm like, it's not
crazy.
worth it because if Sean hasn't one single mutation of MTHFR and I have a double, then our son and our daughter, without testing them, if you know genetics, they're going to at least have one
At
strand.
least one, yeah.
So
Yeah. So we don't know if that was
It's
just
not worth it to
coincidence
me.
and it did it for sure, but
Yeah.
we're not going to take the chance on our daughter. And
Well, they're giving the kids so many
That's
these
what I mean.
days. Almost 100, I heard.
so she asked him, she's like, well, why does he need to get, or why does my daughter need hepatitis
well,
B?
let's
or
start with the hospital. So at the
Okay, yeah.
hospital, there's 3 things they do. They get the Hep B or C. Is it B? Hep B?
Yeah.
Hep B. They get the erythromycin in their eyes, and they get vitamin K for blood clotting. I get that because babies are short of vitamin K when they're born. So I said, I'm fine with you doing the vitamin K. I don't feel super comfortable with it. She's like, well, we have an aluminum-free version, but it's in a special pharmacy, and we have to order it for you.
That's
Why,
weird.
why would that not be something that's like, not whatever? So they got me the aluminum-free version. She showed me the box before she opened it, so that was fine. Erythromycin, like at some point the kid's taking antibiotics. I'm not that worried about it. But the Hep B I'm not doing. So I go in for a 1-week checkup. My doctor, who's a very, Texas Children's Hospital, it's just huge in Texas where
Corporate,
everybody
yeah.
goes. He was like, well, what do you mean you're not doing the Hep B? Why? And I said, why would I? Like, she's not going to be on a playground with drug needles. Like, I don't understand why I need to give this to her, like, the first week. And he goes, so you're not doing anything? Any vaccines? I was like, listen, I almost didn't, like, come here again for my second kid because y'all pressured me the first time. And before COVID, when he was born, 2019, they told me, we do not delay vaccines, and if you want that, we're not the right place for you. So again, I just kind of felt pressured, and I was like, oh, I don't really have time to research. I'm just going to do it. Now, I regret. When I called back again, they were like, no, we don't force any vaccines anymore. If you don't want to vaccinate, that's totally fine. So I said, that's why I chose this place. And he's like, so what about polio? And I said, do they even have polio anymore? He's like, well, there's not, a lot in the U.S., but other countries, yes. I was like, well, we're not traveling. And how many cases are in the U.S.? He couldn't even answer it. So I'm just like, I'm not really worried about these diseases that have been pretty much eradicated, at least here in the U.S. So I'm just going to skip it. And if there's one that I feel like he needs to have for whatever reason, we'll do it. But I'm not doing it now.
Crazy. Yeah, I heard the hospitals really pushed those.
They did not. Like,
Oh, the one you went to
shocked.
didn't.
With my son, they did. It was kind of like, not that it wasn't an option, but it's like, this is what we're going to do.
Yeah.
With my daughter, I told the nurse when she came in, she's like, it is no problem at all. Even the doctor, she's like, I totally understand. I'm like,
Nice.
"What kind of hospital am I in? This is great. They did nobody once pressured me for anything and offered me the aluminum free.
She had her son in Houston, or she had our son in Houston, and then but the
This was in
surrogate
Fort
was
Worth.
in Fort Worth outside of Dallas.
Got it.
And so, for whatever reason, I don't know if it was any different, but
Yeah. I'm looking into wellness centers and home births right now, to be honest. I'm
That's
not
what our
even
friend's
wanting to
mom
do a
does.
hospital. Yeah. But I mean, that hospital sounds great. I don't think those are common though.
Yeah, in Texas, there's a lot.
Oh, there is?
yeah, big time.
Yeah, they have
Texas
like a-
is different though. That's not even part of the U.S. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? They're like their
True.
own country.
Yeah, we are.
Which I
But yeah,
like.
there's a guy that we work with. His mom does that, and it's like she's on call 24/7. She never knew when he was going to give birth, and she just jump around. She's kind of like a little small farm town. She'll just jump around to different cities and do the home births. I think they have like a doula or whatever. Someone
nice.
that kind of coaches you through it. And her
Love
and-
it. Speaking of kids though, Sean, you want to start a school, right?
I do. So, well, that will be like long-term vision.
Yeah.
Is to
like Elon's doing now.
or no, just to disrupt the traditional education system, because I think that the 1% of people that do good in school and become whatever, they're probably going to crush it in no matter what they did anyways. But the other 99%, either drop out or struggle or just get zero ROI when they go to college or anything
Yeah.
else, and so they learn no real life skills to make you successful. There's no financial anything. There's
No.
it's so weird how the world has evolved so much with technology and just all this stuff.
But our kids
we
can't
still,
prepare their own taxes.
Yeah, but they
Right.
they still teach the same way as they did like 70
Yeah.
years ago, and like it just doesn't make
There's
any
no
sense.
life
Like,
skills
Yeah, it
or business
doesn't-
skills.
for,
taught.
for these generations now, it's like it doesn't make any sense why they would still teach that way.
Well, I
for
went
how
to-
the world is now.
I went to business school, and I still don't feel like I left.
Wow.
With any of that basic knowledge. I mean,
nothing,
even
right?
when my CPA or my bookkeeper talks like taxes to me, my head explodes. I can't really wrap my head around a lot of it. He's self-taught on a lot of that stuff, and is
Yeah,
very
and-
very much understands tax codes. But why don't we have like a tax code class or
Just
a
it-
basic
just any
understanding
fi-
in
it
high
just-
school?
People don't even know what interest rates are. and all
Yeah,
this
I mean,
stuff, and so
an
there's
interest
no-
rate and taxes are something that no
Yeah,
matter
I
what, when
did-
you exit high school, you will be doing in your life. That you should be taught those very basic life skills.
I didn't, and my parents, they just didn't have that background either, so it just wasn't something they thought to teach me. I mean, I'm sure they knew what they were, but they just never taught me either, and so you just have to learn it on your own. And so, part of the reason we started the podcast, definitely a long-term goal of mine. It'll be you need a bunch of influence to do it, and so, hopefully we'll get there one day. But the podcast at least will hopefully inspire people. You hear people's stories.
Yeah.
We're trying to do a little bit more of the details on how they actually did it, and so to give people a little bit more tactical information to go and use, right, and to apply in their life. And so big part of the podcast stuff. And then I just started on social media, but my personal content will be geared toward that also.
Love it.
So
That's
yeah.
needed, man. Yeah, there's people like Elon starting schools.
Yeah.
Tim Kennedy started one in Austin, I believe.
Who else? Who, we're talking about yesterday starting one too.
remember.
It's one of these podcast guys that Mike and Vo went
I
with.
don't remember. Yeah.
Who did they go on the private jet with?
Private jet. Was it?
I think does a lot of stuff here in Vegas.
I don't remember.
Was
What a
it
big podcast.
David Meltzer, Bradley?
No,
We did,
Bradley. It was maybe
yeah,
Bradley.
Maybe Brad.
Well,
We-
either Bradley or the other guy.
We
They're
interviewed
starting a
David
school
Meltzer
too.
in Houston.
Yeah,
couple
we
weeks
really
ago.
liked him.
Oh,
a
he's
lot.
He was
great.
great. Yeah, he was a great guy.
He's super connected, and
Yeah.
gratitude is important. He taught me that.
But even what you're doing, I mean, it's just so needed. I mean, you're doing 800 and something podcasts, which is going to have a ton of information. If somebody just listens to that, probably way more
Yeah.
than they'll ever get out of
Dude,
school.
I get messages daily.
Yeah,
like I've saved some lives. Like it's crazy.
It's so weird, right? And
Yeah.
so
Are you still answering to all those?
I am. So I spend 3 hours a day on my Instagram DMs now,
shit.
and it keeps getting harder and harder. But I learned that from Pace Morby. Do you guys know Pace?
I've heard you talk about it.
Mike and Bo were going to connect us with him.
Okay.
They're
Yeah.
Oh, okay,
they're,
that's what
they're
that
in the
was.
real estate side.
He'll
so
be
yeah.
a great guest for you. So every day from 4 to 7 a.m., he answers his DMs.
Yeah.
So I kind of do that too, but I spread it out throughout the day.
Wes was like that, and a couple other people we interviewed.
Oh, Wes only answers
Wes
them.
does 8 hours a day.
Oh,
Yeah, I
does
mean,
he?
he's like that's
he-
his
he's
life.
doing
He
tr-
truly, if you've seen what he's been saying lately, like I truly enjoy this. This is what I was like born to do. I enjoy. Even though he's got that tough exterior shell, I think on the inside he truly gets off to like helping people. He like
That's awesome.
He wants people to be
He's
able
like,
to
I
have the
answer
things
all
that
of
he
them.
has.
He's also does sales. He does. I mean, he's everything. There's no
He
team
said
of people.
He said no one can close like he can,
Yeah.
which is true.
That's true. I don't want anyone on my Instagram DMs, to be honest.
To me, it's more of a trust issue.
Yeah.
Trust issue and like
Giving
they
somebody
represent.
access to all that,
they
too.
represent you too.
But it's also
And it's
connections.
just very
It's like,
generic when it's
you're gonna
coming from
know,
somebody else.
you know, if somebody sends you a message of like who you want to have on, who you don't, and it's hard to like teach somebody like, hey, I like this type of person.
Very hard.
I'm interested in this,
Mm-hmm.
and I mean they can, but it's never gonna be.
No,
Just as good
I
as-
give people a list of people that I want on. I have a 16-page Google Doc list of names.
Sweet.
So I've been crossing those off every week.
So do you have teams of people that reach out to others
Yeah,
too?
cold email or cold. I'll do the DMs, but I have a team
I
emailing.
think I actually got a cold email even before,
Oh yeah,
just randomly. Yeah.
there we go.
Look at that. They're on their game.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
cold emails. Don't sleep on those. Those work.
Yeah, or cold DM was an email.
Oh, DM.
Yeah, cold
yeah.
DM.
I DM 100 a day, cold,
Okay.
and that's amazing.
And you do that.
I do that, yeah. Or no, my assistant does that, but I'll
Okay.
respond. Yeah, because
Yeah,
it
it
takes
does the
time.
outreach and then
Yeah,
then
it takes
get a
time to
response.
find people, but yeah, I'll be the one typing.
Sweet.
Yeah,
Yeah,
you
that's
need
really
that
cool.
personal touch. You know,
I think you do. I really do.
I think people follow me because I mean, you could wear any makeup brand, right? Of course,
Yeah.
it's like clean and it's very educational and it's simple, which is what people need if you're not a makeup artist. But people want you behind the brand and they don't want an automated.
Absolutely. Do you see the makeup space changing, going more natural these days?
Yeah, I think. Well, I don't know if you know this, but the FDA just took over cosmetics. So
Really?
before it was the Wild West, which made things easy.
Mm-hmm.
But Sean's like, dude, this is great. The FDA's taken over. Yes, it's taken a lot of your time now because we had to took every single product, every single ingredient label, photos, front, back, side, everything. You had to change thousands and tens of thousands, if not $100,000 worth of remaking the cardboard boxes that the makeup goes in. To have
Wow.
all of the required information. You have to put your phone number on all the boxes now. People should be able to, place a claim with the FDA if one of your products hurt them. My stuff doesn't have anything active in it or anything crazy. So it's all organic, plant-based, natural stuff. So I'm not too worried about it. But some of these people who are like making with weird ingredients, like now the FDA can come into your facility, you have to register your facility and your products. Where before, didn't really matter. You never had to make claims of where you had your products made or whatever. Now it's all
Just
Wow.
over, since she's established, the barrier to entry is going to be higher
Yeah.
now, right? And so that's what I'm.
So
that's
some
what
of
I
the
meant by
smaller
that. Yeah,
companies aren't going to
it'll-
have like the manpower to keep up.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm sure, there's tattletale. Someone's going to say, this person didn't meet the criteria. You're going to have an angry customer that's going to be
Yeah.
looking for something. They're
Got a
going to get
fine.
turned in and then they're going to have to close shop. So it'll put out some of the competition. And
Yeah, probably be a good thing in the long run, though, right?
yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I wish they did that with food. It's crazy that they're
Right.
doing makeup first, but
Right?
Yeah.
It's like you can make whatever you want. Right?
yeah, supplements.
Supplements,
Yeah.
they don't.
Oh my gosh.
Food is regulated. I mean, the FDA Food and Drug.
Oh, is it? Okay. But not
But not
supplements.
supplements.
Yeah, supplements are just.
You could make that in your backyard and
Yeah,
no
sell it on
regulation
Amazon.
whatsoever. Put whatever kind of pills, put steroids in it or whatever.
You-
No, that happened to Ryan Garcia. They put like whatever, and then he lost his last fight
yeah.
technically because
I
of
saw
it.
that.
Yeah.
You gotta be really
crazy,
careful
right?
what you're taking in the supplement world.
Yeah.
I stopped
you
taking
truly-
most of mine. I only trust
Yeah.
a few brands. Like I
Yeah.
like Brian Johnson stuff, and anyone
What do you
that's
think about Thorne?
It's
a really popular
Yeah,
brand
they
that I
third
fuck
party test.
Yeah,
So yeah, any
some
brand.
of the doctors that I work with usually recommend
Yeah.
that, or there's another brand too they're all third party tested stuff, and so that's just what you need to look for. I mean, there's a lot of brands that do it.
Yeah.
So, but definitely when you're in that industry, you want to look for somebody that tests all their stuff.
Wild Wild West. Yeah, I asked if it's going more natural though, because a lot of these makeup brands got exposed, right, for their ingredients.
Yeah, I think there was I have not watched it yet. I just don't have time to really watch TV, but I heard there's a Netflix documentary out there right now.
Really?
I can't, makeup is in the name of it. It's not how it's made, but something like that. So I need to look it up to find out because I did see there was some exposing going on there,
Yeah.
some whistleblowing stuff, but I haven't watched it.
Yeah, because people put it on their acne or whatever, and then it gets in their skin.
Yeah.
So who knows?
Yeah, you got to be careful. A lot of that
damages.
stuff is hormone disruptors. I mean, back in the day when I first started, everybody was putting parabens in their makeup. It was a preservative.
Right.
Now it's a huge no-no. Talc, you're slowly starting to see talc come out. Even though talc is, if it's in a powder product, you're breathing it in. But if it's not in a powder product, it's like, do you really want that stuff, that close to your skin? So you're seeing people start to clean up with the pressure from competition, which is good. We needed that in this industry. Like I said, the FDA regulation is an extra pain in our ass, but
Yeah.
supplements is probably next. It's just going to take one person in the industry to really, really push for it. That's how it happened with makeup. There was one brand really trying to push and lobby to get
Oh, really?
FDA to take over, and it worked.
Okay.
The company then went out of business. But
What?
There's so
I
much
know.
like lobbying and stuff that you can't change. I mean, so they can still sell cigarettes,
yeah,
and they know they kill people, but you can just put it real big on the box, and you can still sell it. But it's legal. It's like,
Right.
oh yeah, it's okay. You just need to put
Yeah.
a bigger warning. So there's just some industries that like I
Yeah.
don't know if we're ever gonna change.
one of the things for capitalism, right?
Yeah.
Once these companies get so big, they could just buy people off,
Yeah.
pay off politicians, pay off Nancy Pelosi.
Yep.
Yeah.
With vodka.
Oh, she got paid in vodka?
No, she's drunk all the time. I don't know.
Oh, is she? I heard that
No,
about
it-
Kamala. I didn't hear that about her.
Yeah,
they
it's
say
just
Nancy's
like
drunk
meme
all the
stuff that you see going around. It's really funny.
Damn. Is it true we're going to run out of gas one day? I remember when I was a kid, they used to say in like 20
Fossil
years.
fuels, yeah.
Yeah.
No.
That was a myth.
Yeah, there's so much reserves right now, and so the U.S. is getting so efficient. Before pandemic, it was about 1,200 rigs, I think, and we were producing between 12 and 13 million barrels a day here, and then now have about 650 rigs, and we produce a little bit more.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, so
Okay.
it's like
We'll
it's
always have the need for oil, and the products that they use to
and
make
so even when
energy efficient needs oil.
electric and all this other
Hydrogen,
stuff.
right?
Yeah, and the infrastructure it takes off for electric, and people use less gasoline for their cars and other stuff. You still need like plastics and just everything, and so it won't ever just go away. The industry will probably be smaller, and that's probably why a lot of these mergers are happening and kind of preparing for the long haul.
Did you
Right.
hear the interview? I'm sure you did with Trump and Elon.
Yeah, on the spaces, yeah.
I like that. I like how Elon was saying. I really respected him for that. He's like, you shouldn't shame people that still drive gas cars.
Yeah,
Like,
he's always
there's
been a
need
proponent.
for
He's like, you
both.
can't get rid of it. It's not.
Yeah.
Elon always promotes that.
Yeah.
He's trying to create like the whole chain, right, with his solar.
It's like people that are illogical. They don't think like that.
Yeah, I love Elon's last few years.
Dude, he's great.
How raw he's been on
Yeah.
Twitter.
Dude, he's probably the person I look up to the most, just because what person can go and do those huge, crazy ideas, world-changing stuff, and execute on every single one of them? Like that is almost impossible. Like that's
Very
like
few.
one of one.
I said
of
Steve
one.
Jobs
Yeah.
is an. Can you imagine working for Elon and all the pressure he puts on? I should just tell my girls, you think I'm bad?
I'd rather work for Elon
Yeah,
actually
me too.
than
He's
Steve
gonna
Jobs.
push. He pushes people to like
Why?
do their best.
Steve would take it personally. It looked like from the documentaries I've seen, like he would yell at you, like,
Yeah.
and it.
Elon seems logical. Like he's just like that doesn't make any sense, right? He's just everything he thinks about is a logical way.
But he puts a lot of pressure to get results, which is good. That's what you have to have. You have to.
Yeah.
He's a
You
really,
do,
really good leader.
To do world changing stuff like that, you're not just sitting around letting people do whatever they want.
Yeah, but that's when I work the best, when the stakes are high.
The only thing I don't agree with is he says there's no aliens out there.
Yeah, I don't agree with that. I'm
We're trying to
surprised.
convince Sean.
I'm
Sean
kind
does not
of in that
believe.
boat. I just,
You don't think there's
He
aliens?
doesn't think there's anything else alive out there.
I don't
How
think there's
frustrating.
like
It's so
spaceships
frustrating.
coming down to the earth. I don't think
They
that,
already here.
No,
I
They're in the
gotta
North
introduce you
Pole.
to some of my
Do I-
podcast guests.
do I think there's life out there somewhere? Yes, probably so, on some other planets that we don't know about. But not like aliens just shooting down and abducting people.
What's the
and-
guy on Joe Rogan that has the energy sources? He
Oh.
worked for the area.
I know who you're talking about.
Bob Lazar.
Yeah,
I know a lot of people give him a hard time, don't believe him. I absolutely believe every word that he says.
yeah. You need to watch some Stephen Greer.
Okay, I'll check it out. I'm open to anything.
He's
And
not open
again,
to anything. I try.
Hold on.
Oh yeah, so you're pretty.
No, but
It makes me turn off my alien
science.
show.
So
Stubborn.
if there's some science that shows me, if they come down tomorrow, I'll be like, hey, I was wrong.
What if
there's
you-
a spaceship that's here?
What if you went on like a journey and saw one like with your eyes?
Oh, 100%. I mean,
No, he wouldn't believe it. He would think it was
No.
AI.
I'm saying that I am open to change my mind when I see proof. So,
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it has to be
Or
science.
some.
I just
some
think
proof.
we didn't
Like,
just all of a sudden in the early 1900s go from like, the Oregon Trail to where we're at now. Something came
Yeah.
here.
Yeah,
in
how
more
would you
recent
explain
time.
like the ancient stuff like the pyramids?
I don't know.
'Cause
I really don't know.
The way they taught us how it's built is total BS.
Yeah.
like that's not possible.
And again, I don't know, and I'm not saying that it's not out there. I just would like to see at some point somebody can change my mind if I see proof or there's like real proof and it's
Yeah.
really concrete. I'm open
Respect,
to it. Yeah,
respect.
it's all good.
That's how it should be, though. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just right now, I have a hard time because there's just not a lot of real proof that's out there that makes
Yeah.
it
You
makes
just,
it
don't, you just
clear.
don't believe any of it. It's fine.
I didn't trust the government evidence.
Yeah,
That was
that
weird.
part, I'm pretty sure they're probably hiding a lot of stuff.
But I was surprised that Elon was so hardcore.
I was shocked. He either knows
Wouldn't you
something
think?
or he genuinely believes
But
it.
he doesn't seem like the kind of guy who's going to be paid off to shut up. Or
It's
else.
just logical.
He's got weird ties, but yeah,
He wants the NASA contracts.
who knows? When you're at that level, you got some weird influences in your
Dude,
life
can you
for
believe
sure.
it? I mean, I'm
you
sure
know,
it's
there's
crazy.
people knocking at your door. Like, I get weird DMs. I'm not even like big time, but like people pull up to my networking events and invite me to the World Economic Forum, and I'm like, this is weird. Like stuff like that's happening to me now.
That's really cool, though.
Yeah, I guess it's a good sign, but it's scary, man.
Yeah, that's the good thing about social media. You never know where it's going to lead for sure. It's definitely can't ignore it.
Yeah. No, it's cool to see because you built your wealth without any social media.
Zero,
but now
yeah.
you're kind of diving
Yeah,
into
I was
it.
It's
actually-
shocking because it was right in the time when everybody was using social media, even Facebook, and he didn't even have an account. He had a MySpace,
Wow.
and then no
So
Facebook
when you were
at all.
running ads, it was just Google.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, it was all it was all internet based stuff and
Businesses weren't in 2008 though, 2009
No,
when
it
you became
wasn't
realistic.
social media.
People weren't using social media through businesses. That was just so new. Facebook business page didn't come out until 2011.
Oh,
I
wow.
remember because it was the year I started my business, but nobody really used it for business.
I definitely have a way different feeling, and I think it's a good thing now, just because access to information is so amazing, and I didn't have that whenever I was growing up, and so I think social media is amazing for the world. Of course, there's always like some bad that's going to come with anything that's that big.
Yeah.
But I used to be anti social media because she started her business and built it off social media. And I'm like, don't post our house, don't post it. Like, don't
As
even
soon
put
as
me
the
in the
camera would
background.
go to him, they thought he was a stay-at-home dad.
Oh,
Nothing
yeah.
wrong with
They did
stay-at-home
for a long
dads.
time. They're like-
They were all like, "What does Sean do?" And I'm
Yeah.
like, "Oh,
He's a
it's
drug
so funny 'cause
dealer.
They don't know. Yeah, they thought he was that too. They thought he was a drug dealer. They're like, "How could he afford a house like
Funny.
this?"
Yeah, when I was
he
like
was always
25,
undercover.
of course, everybody's like, oh,
Yeah,
he's
yeah.
probably,
You were
like-
super private.
Well, that, and I was always we were in a smaller town, and so it's like, sure, you don't have people that can really think that's possible. But I've definitely changed my mind on that too.
But he watched me in my business. Like he
yeah,
was
right.
always
nice.
doing really well when we met. And he said, "Why don't you start a makeup line?" And I was like, "I can't afford it. It's too expensive." He said, "Well, why don't you start an online store where you sell these other brands?" And I'm like, "They don't allow you to do that. Like, Estee Lauder, Laura Mercier,
Controlled.
La Mer, whoever. They don't
Licensing.
allow like a mom and pop to sell their stuff. This is back then. I was like, they have to approve you. So he didn't believe me. So he got online and he called. I came home from work one day when I worked at Neiman's, and he goes, "Well, I learned something today. Estee Lauder owns everything." Because I called that same 1-800 number about 10 times, searching every makeup brand that I knew to try to ask to see if you were right. And he's like, "And you're right. They have to be like a certified brick and mortar that has,
Yeah.
an online e-commerce platform as well." But I waited until like 2011, early 2011, and I was like, "Wait, I think I can do this. I can start my own line." But I'd already had that following. I had built up a following. Facebook used to have 5,000 people max on your personal page.
Still
So
does, right?
I think it still does, yeah. So I built that up to 5,000 max. I already had that platform to pitch myself to, but I absolutely would not be here today if it wasn't for Facebook business pages and that.
Wow.
And Sheryl Sandberg, I did her makeup. I don't know if you know this, but she was the COO for Facebook and
Oh,
Instagram.
nice.
I do her family's makeup, so I got to do her makeup. And she didn't have a voice when I was doing her makeup, but she's like, "Tell me about your business." And I told her, thanks to you and you creating that, because it was her project to do the Facebook business pages. I was like, I absolutely would not be here today.
Wow.
Instagram helped take it next level, but all of my marketing was on social media. And it was free until recently. Oh, it was all free.
Yeah, now they limit your views.
Yeah.
They're like 5% of your followers. It's
Yeah,
crazy.
I remember.
really.
I remember
Yeah.
the year they did that. It went from like these people getting. I mean, I used to when I only had 10,000 people, I had 3,000 to 5,000 views on my story.
Yeah, that's how it used to be.
Now I
yeah.
have less than that with
I know.
80, 90,000.
Nuts.
That's also anything, supply and demand. It was
Do you
just
have
the
to deal
same
with
way
that too
Google
on yours?
AdWords.
Oh yeah, and everything's gone up. Now when I run YouTube ads, because I boost some podcast episodes, it's
Yeah.
like double the price when I started a year ago.
So are you boosting from the app?
The YouTube app, yeah,
Are you
promotions
boosting
tab.
But
Instagram stuff?
Oh, not Instagram. I only
So the
boost
boost
YouTube.
doesn't work anymore. So some things
really?
happen. I don't know. If I use the boost, apparently Apple Pay got onto Instagram. And I don't.
Oh yeah, I saw that.
What is that?
So Apple Pay wants 30% of all the boosts.
Yep.
So people stop doing it. So
Yeah.
now you got to boost from your desktop.
I know. I hate it.
It's like an extra step.
Yeah.
That's
Crazy.
what drove Fortnite out of the App Store too. The 30%.
yeah,
Apple's got a monopoly on that
dude,
stuff.
they do. They're just like just a
Okay, so I didn't know you can do it from the
everybody.
desktop like
they're
that.
just charging everybody rent for everything.
I mean,
they're just
I was like,
crushing
why is my boost
Yeah.
not working? So for a couple of months, it didn't work at all. I guess
Wow.
they were trying to re-collaborate everything. Then all of a sudden, I would say, just for even numbers, $1,000 boost was costing me $1,400. I was like, where's this extra $400 coming from?
Damn. So they were getting you sneakily.
An extra $400, and I was boosting this one viral video that I had. It was really good. It had millions of views, and I was trying to like just keep it going through the pipeline. All at the same time that I said I wanted to kill Sean with writing on my story. I said I'm going to kill my husband for me living in the hotel.
Yeah.
I got not shadow banned, but whatever I got grounded from
Oh, the
Instagram.
K word, yeah.
Right when that video went viral, so I was like, okay, well they're gonna show it if I start paying for my boosts.
Yeah.
So I was paying $1,000 a day just to boost it to keep it going.
Wow,
because
$1,000
they
a
weren't
day?
$1,000 a day.
Holy crap.
Just because they weren't showing it. As soon as that happened, like 2 days later, I saw that video right away. I knew it was going to go viral because I posted it, walked away from it. 2 minutes later, it's like 10,000 views. I was like, holy and then just kept telling my friend, share it. It's about to go viral. It's about to be a good one.
Wow.
So anyway,
Yeah,
yeah.
certain words trigger the algorithm. I know the kill word is such a silly word, but
Yeah,
that
just
one.
say
is
red
one of
rum
the-
now. Want a red rum, Sean?
Yeah. Yeah, I just got banned on TikTok. Certain words and topics, you know, got to be careful.
I didn't know TikTok was watching like Instagram was. I didn't know.
They're
it was-
all once
They're
it gets
probably
big
worse.
enough. Yeah, once it gets big enough, they're all going to be pretty much the same.
But yeah, I haven't boosted anything since then.
Yeah, I would
So-
boost your YouTube episodes because
Okay.
you'll be able to get bigger guests if you can show that you're getting
Take
100,000
note. I had
views.
no idea you could do that.
Yeah, because I did that for like, because you could sort it by popular, so you want those to be pretty good views, and then
Okay.
you'll be able to get a lot of guests.
Okay. Yeah. Awesome. Yeah. Everybody said that YouTube's like when people watch those, it's really you're really bought in.
Yeah.
It's a good.
Yeah, well, when you ask people to come on, the first thing they look at is usually YouTube.
Yeah.
'Cause they look at this as
I actually watch a lot of
subscribers.
stuff on YouTube. So like I watch.
I like to
my
watch the
podcasts on
podcast.
YouTube. Yeah.
Yeah.
I watch it. I mean, you can still watch them on Spotify, but for some reason, I still go to YouTube and watch them.
YouTube's better because the comments. And
Oh,
it's
yeah.
video.
Oh, they're almost all bad. I don't even read the
Oh,
comments.
really?
Oh God, no.
You guys are getting some heat already?
Oh no! Like YouTube stuff is just in general. If like you read
Oh,
through
people are
YouTube
just
comments,
terrible in
it's
the
crazy,
comments.
yeah.
I mean, I think with Instagram, people have more of a personal relationship with me and most buy my brand. So it's different. I get very little comments until the viral one.
Yeah.
And then everybody just really hates that mole on my face.
Really?
she would get like.
I don't give a shit because
they're
I've been
like-
dealing with this for like 14 years, 13,
Yeah.
14 years. So I'm numb to all of this. But
The females get.
Dude, they go,
my
you need to
God.
cut that mole off your face. It's
if you're gonna be a makeup artist, why don't you knock that hairy mole off your face?
Oh
And I'm
my
like,
God.
I'm like,
It's
listen,
like,
I'm
geez,
growing it
like-
out.
Dude, the females get it worse, man. Layla Hormozy, do you know?
Yeah,
Oh, they're
that
so
is-
mean to her. I watch her too. She's
Holy
like, I
crap.
mean, she got like a nose job and she just did everything.
She had
She's
to
just
change
like, you know,
everything.
that
Her
sucks,
voice, like, it's your voice. You're born with it.
Oh,
Like,
she's probably taking testosterone.
oh, is she?
I'm sure she is because her voice
Okay.
is
So
getting
that
deeper
affects
and
your
deeper.
voice?
Yes, and I am also on it. And I notice, like when I watch old videos of myself, I was like, oh, it's a squeaky toy.
Oh, wow.
But yeah, my voice keeps getting lower too.
Okay.
I'm
It's not
taking
always
like
been that way though. It's not. Some people just have like a different voice.
Yeah.
So it's not.
Yeah. I used to have a girly ass voice.
take
Oh
some
my
testosterone
God.
and you won't.
Yeah, no, it was back in the day. It was embarrassing. Like I could scream full pitched. Yeah, it was so embarrassing. But no, I take some natural stuff for testosterone. It helps for sure. I didn't know you were on it though. You're the first girl I met on it.
Yeah, I started taking it about a year ago, and it's been amazing.
Really?
Very,
so
very
yours
happy
was
with
super
it.
low.
But just the
It's
very
really,
low.
really low
I don't know.
dose.
You're on it too?
He's my
Yeah.
nurse, so I don't know how much he gives
Okay.
me.
No. Our doctor, which is a super amazing guy, and he works with like 90% women. I mean, it's like 90-10. And yeah, he put her on it, and it's such a minimal amount.
So it was about 2 years ago, 3 years ago. I told you I had that like rough patch where
Yeah.
I was just everything was just sparking me, and I was just level 10. Probably going through the change. Something happens to us 40 plus, 50 plus women.
Yeah.
And I think just doing all the IVF and injecting all those hormones in me for 2 years in my late 30s, it just imbalanced everything. Then my thyroid got thrown off, and I'm like, I went from never taking one single solitary pill, not even for a headache, to taking like 8 a day.
Damn.
And anyway, just overproduce estrogen. And so I take estrogen blockers. And even when I was doing testosterone cream, I was, everything was being converted over to estrogen. And I had so much estrogen that can be very dangerous for women. So anyway, taking the testosterone just as more of like a balancing with everything. So
Yeah.
yeah, with progesterone and estrogen blockers and everything's a lot more balanced than
Nice.
it used to be. So
That's cool.
Really
Functional
good place,
medicine in
Matt.
general is just so awesome.
Yeah.
Like he's technically my primary care guy, anyways. My functional medicine guy.
Yeah.
It's just like,
But
why-
but doing all that and getting regulated though has really helped anxiety too. So I know
Yeah.
with him that's a part of like what's helped with his anxiety,
Yeah.
with mine.
You
just-
had it too, anxiety?
Yes, I think that it comes with the MTHFR. It's like we're all kind of like one of a kind. We all have ADHD, a little bit of anxiety, a little bit of OCD, kind of all mixed in.
Yeah.
It seems to be very common. But yeah, getting the hormones regulated made a huge difference on my mood, the total outlook on life and energy level and all that.
yeah, Matt was telling me all the same stuff yesterday.
He has it too, the MTHR?
Yeah. And but the same thing. He's almost like, I felt like we were the same person. I was like, every life experience he had, I was like, it's like exactly like me.
You two are very similar.
Yeah, he's great. He's a great guy.
Yeah.
He's super intelligent too. It was a really good conversation.
Yeah, I know he's dealt with some anxiety too.
Yeah,
Yeah, it
yeah.
must be a link with the MTHFR.
I think it is. I think
Wow.
I hear Gary talk about it sometimes. Like he's like, if you want to fix it, this is a big part of it.
And it's a lot of the problems that we have as humans, are kind of all tied back to that. And if
Yeah.
you just take some of the right supplements and
Eating-
things that are
eating-
methylated and
Eating
eat
a bunch
right.
of processed foods, it's
Yeah,
like makes it
makes
worse.
a huge
Like putting
difference.
fire on it.
Would you guys ever use CRISPR on one of your future kids? I know you got 2 eggs saved still, right?
Is it CRISPR?
Or CRISPR, yeah.
What is that?
I think they're only doing it in China.
Oh, in China?
Oh, is that where you pick like the hair color and stuff?
You
What is
pick
that?
everything. So you could remove the MTHFR if you want.
So,
Which is
I would be
crazy.
too
Yeah.
scared to the genes like that early on and with cell division.
Yeah, I don't
that
think
would
we
scare
would.
me. But
We know the sex and then the sex of the embryo, and then we know they pull out like some
The
chromosome
ball
disorders.
genes and-
Well, no, on our stuff they pull out the chromosome disorders that a woman
they don't
would
pull
normally
them.
miscarry.
You have to discard.
Oh, they
them.
discard them. Yeah. So they just say, hey, these embryos are no good because the chances of you having a miscarriage are going to be really high.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're usually
So
not
they
viable, and they don't even let you really use them. Like if you want to use one that has a chromosome disorder, like some that are survivable, like the missing the 8th chromosome, whatever, then you have to go to a psychologist and have special.
What?
Yep.
Wow.
Extra paperwork signed that you understand. Because some people like go their whole life. I mean, they're doing IVF for 10 years.
And if
like
they only
want
get
it,
one
and they've
embryo,
never
they
been
still
able-
want to try
yes.
it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, anyways, that's the whole point of IVF is gives you the best chance of having a viable.
Got it. You're like hedging your bet almost.
Yeah.
Okay,
So it's been
interesting.
great. We had a great experience with all of it. She went through hell. IVF is like really hard on women because you're like pumping them full of hormones and like
Damn.
overproducing eggs and stuff. So
All the weight gain that goes
Yeah,
along with
it's-
it, and influx, and
yeah, that's kind of what messed her up. It's like
Yeah, I could
messed her
imagine.
hormones up.
Holy crap. Yeah, I don't know if I do CRISPR. I'm on the same page as you guys.
Yeah, it's a little. I wouldn't want to like. What if something happens? I mean, I'm sure down the road they're gonna have all kinds of crazy stuff.
that's what I think the future is. And I think
Yeah.
I see stuff. My kid somehow found something on YouTube. They were growing babies. It was right when we had the kid too. We're in the hospital with the kid, and I guess he was talk texting something because he can't write. But he was talk texting something in there, and there was like this like farm where they had surrogates, but it was machines. And I'm sure it creates the perfect habitat to grow a baby. And I'm like, this is absolutely where the future is going
Artificial
to be.
wombs, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, I saw those. Holy crap. So you won't even need to have sex.
No.
You just have an artificial womb. I don't know how I feel about that.
Yeah,
I like to be
totally.
as natural as possible, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah, but I mean, there's some people who can't carry, and if you
Yeah.
can't, and there was a surrogate shortage right when we were looking, like
Yeah, it's-
because there's so many stipulations on surrogacy. You can't be on any mental health drugs. You can't have previously been on any mental health drugs. You have to have a child, currently be raising that child. You can't have more than 6 births. Just
We thought we were
again,
going to
there's
show
a
up
lot
to the
of
agency and there was
Yeah.
going to be like a book of
like
surrogates.
Handmaid's Tale.
Yeah, it's not even close.
Oh, it's not like that?
It took us 6-8 months, and then
Holy.
they kind of have to pick
You
you.
wait in line. There's a
Oh.
database.
Yeah, they pick you. They go. You kind of write your bio and your story and whatever, and they come and like go through the parents, and they're like, I want to help these people for whatever reason.
Wow.
Yeah.
I thought you picked that.
No.
no,
I mean,
so the surrogate comes to
they
the
have
place.
to match you first.
Okay.
They
The
approve
one
the
we used,
surrogate.
yeah.
The surrogate comes and says, I think I want to do this. I saw one of your ads. I want to work from home and make $50,000 a year, whatever. They then, vet the surrogate first. Then they say, okay, you're approved. Let's open up the database. Here's your password. And you dig through hundreds of families. You pick 2 or 3 that you're interested in. Then you set up like conference calls to see who politically aligns with you.
Yeah, they
Wow.
ask you everything, the vaccines, everything, and so
Like-
they go, yeah, I'm on board. The reason that she also picked us is we didn't make her do a C-section. What was there was like a
She didn't want to travel out
oh
of state.
that was the other thing too.
Out of
Yeah.
state.
So there was like a couple things, and that's why they try to match you with. Like,
She didn't want to do breast milk. That's what it
Oh,
was.
yeah, that's
so you have
what
to
it
agree.
was.
There's a ton of things you have to agree. Tons of things you have to
Dang.
agree on. But if you don't agree politically, like if you have someone who very conservative family and you have more of a liberal surrogate, maybe they don't align with what if this baby's killing me and I want to abort.
Oh.
You know.
yeah. So there's
Wow.
there's so much stuff. You're like signing your life away as you go. You can tell there's been so much case law on it.
That's interesting.
Yeah, every time we went to the IVF clinic, it's like, what happens if what happens if where does the embryos go? Who owns them? Like,
Dang.
And if we
It's-
break up, what would you do with them? Would you want them to go to science?
Yeah,
would you
would
want
you
them to
donate
be
'em? Would you
discarded? Would you,
discard 'em? Yeah.
would you donate them?
Holy
Which
crap.
is an adoption. Would you adopt to a gay couple? Would you adopt to a straight
It's
couple? Would you-
everything.
what about ethnicity and race?
So
Where
you
are at
know
with
there's
that?
been
Yeah.
so much case law, like all this.
Lawsuits,
Every
yeah.
time you're signing stuff, you're going, that happened before. That happened before. That happened before.
That's funny. Holy crap. Well, guys, where can people find the show and keep up with you guys?
So on Instagram, my handle is Gentry Kelley Cosmetics. Kelly has 2 E's, the correct way. Gentry is with a J. And then official Shawn Lynch for him. And then the podcast page name is Official Success Formula.
Yep.
The actual podcast is Success Formula. So we're available on all platforms. If you want to listen on Spotify or YouTube, watch, listen, it's available everywhere. Just type in Success Formula to find it.
Perfect. We'll link it below. Thanks for coming on, guys. That was
Yeah,
fun.
no, appreciate it.
Yep. Thanks for watching, guys. Check out the links below. I'll see you next time.